Today I'm excited to spend some time with you. We're going to show you how you can either get or maximize your disability income. Got some new news to release to you about how much money you can make and keep your benefits, and we are going to answer all your questions, hopefully. And we're going to hear from a couple of people that have been a pretty big influence here at the Disability Digest that do some work here with us. So Cheryl and Kathy are here with us today, so you'll hear from them in a bit. So, but before I go on and ramble for a long time, I want to make sure that you folks can hear me and see my screen. So let me just try this. Kathy, I'm going to unmute you. Can you verify that you can hear me and see my screen?
I can, and I do, Brian.
Awesome, thanks. Very good. We'll be back with you in a little bit. And let me find you, Cheryl. Are we all hooked up so that when time comes we can hear from you? Cheryl, are you out there? Hello. Okay. All right, we'll check back with you. So, okay, great. So here's what I have on tap for today. There were 300 and something individuals, members that registered for this event, which is fantastic. And so I wanted to get an understanding of what would be most helpful for you so that I can address your primary concerns. And looking at the registrations, there were 32 people that have not applied for disability, 57 that have applied and are waiting to get approved, and 230 that have already received their benefits. So congratulations to you folks. So we're going to address questions accordingly based on those of you that are approved and not approved, etc. So, okay, I see. All right. So, Cheryl, I see your note. I just want to see if others of you could wander over to the question feature on the GoToMeeting software, because this is where I'd like for you to type in your question if you haven't already submitted it or want to submit it again. So to do that, when you go to the GoToMeeting software, there's a section that says questions, and all the way over next to the X, there's a little small square that you can expand. And when you do that, you can type in a question. That's one way. The other way is, just like the old-fashioned classrooms, you can actually raise your hand, and if your microphone is hooked up, I'll just unmute you, and we can speak back and forth like we're, sitting in your living room. So on the GoToMeeting software, there's a little bar that sticks out, on mine anyway, and there's a hand that's there. And you just raise your hand, click on that, and then I can see that it's raised, and you can ask me a question that way. So, okay, so let's get started. I want to just go through some brief information about how to use your membership, because a lot of the questions are about topics and information that we have here at the Disability Digest, and it may be that you're not aware of it and you want to understand. I want to help you understand how to find it. So, welcome home, Tay. So our goal here at the Disability Digest is, our mission that we work day in and day out is to provide you with a free, trusted resource that's easy to use and that will help you get and maximize your disability income. And the whole focus of our efforts is to generate income. We are a for-profit, although your membership is free, so that we can put people back to work, members of our website. So you're going to hear from some individuals that will do work here today. So that's what we focus on. So if you're looking for information that is not covered today, or you want to learn more about it, please pay attention to my screen at this time. One of the key things is the members area, which is in the top right-hand corner. I'm going to navigate over to the members area. In the members area is where we have an index of the primary resources that we provide our membership based on the questions that are commonly asked. And they are in no particular order, but the first category is getting approved with disability. And these sections are all broken down with courses. For example, this is a course here that's a Social Security Disability mini course that is helped over 11,000 people get their disability income, and you can read the success stories here. And this is for the 80 of you that are not approved yet. Even if you are late in the stages of waiting for a hearing and have a disability attorney, you should definitely come in here and take advantage of some of the lessons that will help you maximize your chances at the hearing level to get approved. So if you're just getting started, then you want to start in the beginning with some of these courses. And most of the resources that we have are either an audio or a video, like this one with Carl Osterhout. He shows you how to fill out the forms for Social Security, and he's been doing this for a long time and has handled 25,000 of his cases on his own. So it's all there for you. So the key is you have a membership is just to go in and make yourself aware of what is available to you in the members area. So like section 2 we're going to talk about today, which is how much money you can make and keep your benefits. And then once you understand how much you can make, maybe you want to find something to do to supplement your income. And that's in section 3, where there's different ways that you can pursue income. Most of them are from home, things you can do and control your income so that you can keep your benefits. Housing questions, where to find affordable housing in safe places, with a banged up budget and bad credit. The answers for that are in section 4. Grants, there's really only one reliable grant source, and that's Modest Needs. And this has helped a lot of our members. Usually you get funded in 14 days. It's for grants that are typically $1,000 or less. We had a lady most recently who had her dog died. She couldn't afford a funeral or proper burial, and so she applied and was funded. It was really cool. So it was a service-related dog, and it was very near and dear to her. But so there's that, and also for other things that would really help you and prevent people from kind of going into a significant tailspin. That's what they fund there. So that interview is fantastic. Go and have a look, and perhaps that will help you out. So there's other resources in section 6, 7, and 8, and section 9 is for our veterans. It's a complete course to teach you how to get or maximize your veterans disability benefits. So let's say that you go through there and you're like, oh man, my question isn't answered. What do I need to do? Well, one of the things that's on my agenda to cover today, I'm going to use as an example, is in the search feature, if you type in I'm going to type in disability review, which is already in there, and I'm going to search on it because there's several comments about individuals that have had a disability review, been called for disability review. So when you go through the search feature, the top ones are Google Ads because they sponsor this search feature for us, so we have to give them their placement. But when you go down and you see anything that says Disability Digest, this is the courses that we have. So for those of you, the 230 of you that are on disability, I would suggest that you make this a stop on your entertainment agenda, is to come in here and understand what would happen and how it would happen if you were called upon for a disability review, because they're getting more and more popular. And my message is, I don't want you to freak out. I just want you to be prepared. Usually, if you understand how to handle the paperwork and the right steps to do and you respond in time, there's no problem. But some people don't know how to do that. So come in here, follow the directions, follow the steps. There's forms in here that you're going to get when this comes, so you know what they're like in advance, what you need to do, steps you need to do to protect your check. And if you go through that, all of that, and it still gets denied, then there's another step to help you appeal it and what you can do all along the way to keep your benefits while you're appealing this process. So anyway, if you just go to the search feature and type in disability review, and I'm going to do this along the way. In the chat feature, I'm going to put in the website link, and then I'm going to hit send. So if you look at the chat feature on the GoToMeeting software on your side, and then you click on it, that website will pop up on your side, and you can just leave it there for future reference. Okay, so I hope I haven't lost my place here. No, here we are. All right, so we talked about that. All right, so I want to go over to some of the questions that we have. Nah, I don't want to do that yet. A few things I want to share with you before I forget is here at the Disability Digest, we have people from all around the U.S. that are like the 89 that we have that are going through the disability approval process, and we're often asked, for disability representative information. Like, I'm using this disability representative. They seem like they're going to be okay. Do you know anything about them? Or can you find me a disability representative? Or we get stories like, oh my God, I've used this disability representative. What a train wreck. So we are in the process of collecting information on different disability representatives, like kind of the good, bad, and the ugly type report. So here's how it works. We have this website link that I'm going to put in the chat here. If you fill it out and submit your opinion, if it's a representative that we end up using that becomes a sponsor on our website, and we participate and work with them in some way, even if they are not a good Social Security disability representative, there are other areas that we may be able to work with them to improve their services, like Medicare. We could do their Medicare work for them. So if we do end up entering into some type of working relationship with them, then we would be delighted to send you a $180 Amazon gift certificate. So just as a thank you for offering your opinion, no guarantees, but it's a possibility. So, and plus it would help other people that are going through the process. So I'm going to put that in the chat, and you can just click on that on your side and fill it out as well. Yeah, so what else is it? Okay, so I want to go through some of the key questions that we have here. So I just highlighted them, and so nobody's identity is revealed with the questions. So I'm just going to touch on some of them. So the first one I want to talk about is supplementing your income without losing your disability benefits. And there's been a lot of questions in and around this area. I think one of the best ways to maximize your benefits, or to take the edge off of trying to live on a disability check, is to supplement your income. So the common question is not so much, one of them is how to, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but one of the prior questions is usually, well, how much can I make, or can I even work? So the short answer of this long, complicated form here is, actually, this is not the right one, not the right page, but the short answer is, I'll find the right page for you. You can earn $810 as of this year and keep your benefits. So in the members area, in section 2 where I'm navigating, this kind of explains the whole story on it. And this is the website that I wanted to pull up for you. So it increased. 2015 it was $780. 2016 it's $810. So if you're going to work and supplement your income, the thing to keep in mind is that this is if you're working independently, like an independent contractor, you have your own business, this is an average of your income over the course of a year. So if you average it out over all the months, and it's also your net after your expenses. So you might have to spend $1,000 or $1,100 to make that 810 because you've got a cell phone, you've got a computer, you have internet access, there's things you need to do to travel with your car and supplies you need to buy, whatever it is. But factor all of that in there, and then it comes down to 810. So it really, if you can, get in that area, it can make a big difference considering the average disability check is around $1,100. So so that's good news. So it's slightly increased, although there wasn't much movement in the COLA. They seem to be bumping up this a little bit, how much money you can make. Okay, so, and again, if you have questions, just want to give you a shout out about how you can ask those. You can raise your hand, which there's a hand raising feature on the GoToMeeting software. Just raise your hand, make sure your microphone is connected, and then we'll be able to speak. And in addition to that, you can type your questions in the question feature, which I see some of those are already started to pile up. We're going to get to those in a moment. And then I'll address those individual questions, pending there's something we haven't already talked about. Okay, so that's one of the key questions that we have. Want to get housing. Which housing is better, Section 8 or HUD? I really don't have anything to add to that because they're set up differently, and there's different availability in different markets based on my understanding. And to be candid with you, we haven't found across the U.S. a whole lot of success with Section 8 or HUD. What we have found successful as a few housing tips is this. I'm going to go back over here. Is in our members area in the housing section. So I scroll down to that. So one of the things is, let me see if this is the right one. I haven't been in here in a bit. Yes, okay. So there's a couple of interviews in here about how to find affordable housing. The first thing is I would go to your local Center for Independent Living. They're a great resource, and they don't actually provide housing, but they are connected with all of the housing resources in your area. So they would be like, if you're going to look for flights and you're going to go to Travelocity, right? They're like your Travelocity for housing resources in your area. So I would definitely do that. I'd listen to this interview, and I wouldn't discount or totally ignore HUD or that. I wouldn't. But in the second interview, or what was it, B that I was just in, 4B, if you come in and listen to this guide right here and listen to this resource, it will direct you to find your local Center for Independent Living, and also show you how to contact the local HUD office. But I'd go to Centers for Independent Living first. The other thing is we found some success in a creative home sharing concept, and this is item 4A in the members area. And this could work if you have a home and you're looking for extra income, or if you want to live in a really nice place and you don't need a whole house. So this is home sharing. This was course was put together in conjunction with Home Share Vermont, where they take individuals that are looking for a home and they match them up with other people that have a home. And sometimes you can barter and you can live there for like next to nothing. And it may be as simple as there's one person that I interviewed that their job was to play board games a couple nights a week and bring out the trash and something else. It wasn't extremely time consuming. And lay out some medication, and a beautiful home in a great neighborhood. So, and this home share strategy exists throughout the United States. It's not just in Vermont. So come in and have a listen to this. Now, if you have a home and you want to be the recipient of that, maybe you're looking for some income, they screen everybody. You go through a complete interview process. So they really reduce the, oh my God, who's going to be in my house concern. And you can turn somebody down if you don't, see it fit. So those are a few housing tips for you. All right, so let's see the other areas of questions that we have. Medicare questions, and there is Medicare resources in section 7 of the members area, so I just want to point that out because there's a couple of Medicare related questions. So these questions are kind of the same. How can I supplement my income without losing my benefits? How can I become a better advocate for myself and others with disabilities? We're going to talk more about that in a minute. How can I volunteer a few hours a week so I don't be completely bedridden? A lot of questions around what I can do to supplement my income, working part-time, self-employment, work and family. So that's what we're going to move on to next. All right. Okay, let me get back to my program here. And just one more time for those of you that do want to ask questions, you can type them in the question feature, and I see that some of you raised your hands on the GoToMeeting software, and then I can unmute you and we can speak that way. Okay. All right, awesome. So we talked about how much money you can make and keep your benefits. Oh, one more thing before I forget. For the 89 of you that are not on your disability benefits yet, we did a specific how to get approved for disability webinar, and I'm going to put that in the chat feature. So you have that. It goes into more detail about the MiniCourse, how to use its strategy, answer some specific questions. So that just went in the chat feature for you. Okay. Great. So let's talk about some different ways in which you can supplement your income here at the Disability Digest. We have 2 areas where individuals work with us to supplement their income and help other members. And one is we have an advocate program. We have one of the advocates here today. That's Cheryl. And what Cheryl does in her work, and she'll expand upon it a little bit, is she helps people go through the disability approval process. She's not an attorney, she's not a doctor, she works here as a way to supplement her income. She coaches people. She shows you how to use the resources that we have, primarily the disability MiniCourse. She answers questions that you have, help you get your strategy to go forward and apply. But one of the most valuable things that the advocates do is they help you get your story straight, because there's really a certain way that you need to communicate your disabilities, if you will, so that it is understood by Social Security. So that's one of the areas of work that we have here for our members. The second one is what we call a Referral Partner program that I'm super excited about. And this program is where members can come join a team where you get paid to refer new members to the Disability Digest. So the whole focus of our business is that a lot of the disability income that is earned, not talking about your paychecks, but on the business side, is from insurance companies, for Medicare and Social Security disability attorneys, and a lot of advertising dollars are spent to Google, Facebook, and Yahoo. So this allows us to really change the level, the playing field, and train individuals so that they're put in a place so we can go out and do our own marketing and own advertising, and we can redirect that money back into the bank accounts of our members. So those are the 2 different areas that we have to where you can supplement your income. So I just want to see, I'm a bit ahead of schedule here, but before we get on to answering questions, I wanted to see if we could get a word from Kathy and Cheryl about the respective work that they do. So let me just find Cheryl. Can you hear me? All right. If you can, give us a shout out. Maybe Kathy can. Kathy, you still there?
I am, Brian.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today. So Kathy is a referral partner. Has been working with us, and she's volunteered a few moments just to stop by and say hey and kind of share her experience of what she's been doing here at the Disability Digest. So thank you in advance.
You're welcome, Brian. First, I want to say good afternoon to everybody from the East Coast of Virginia. I know we've got folks from all over the place. I want to start by telling you how I first connected with Brian in the Disability Digest or the Fibromyalgia Digest. I actually have fibromyalgia and a few other disabilities, and a friend told me about the Disability Digest. So I checked with them, and sure enough, they got me started very quickly. And folks, just 3 months later, my first try, I was approved for disability. And that was been more than a year ago now. And ever since that time, I've been telling everybody I know about them. And I'm a big Facebook fan. I've got a lot of friends out there that need help, and I've referred many of them as well. And earlier last year, Brian called me. And I still have that on my voicemail message, Brian, on my machine. And he said, hey, Kathy, first we want to congratulate you on your approval so quickly, and we hear you're referring people to us. And I said, yeah, why would I not? They did an awesome job and an awesome website. And he said, well, we'd like to pay you for doing that. And I'm like, really? I want to hear more. So ever since that time, I've been working with Brian and Disability Digest through the Referral Partner program from home. I set my own hours, and again, since I am disabled, I don't always feel well, so I work when I feel up to it. I work as few or as many hours as I want to, and from the very first month, I made a check, and I've received a check every month after that, from anywhere from $200-300 up to $700, and now that Brian's telling us that limit's now $810, I can guarantee you I will go up to that amount and not affect my monthly benefits. So if you're a people person like I am, I know when we have disabilities we don't feel well. We don't feel like going out and being sociable like we used to. I know you guys get that. But we can still be sociable on the internet, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or what other social webs there are out there for you. And I have found that there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on just Facebook support groups alone that are looking for our help. And they have no clue where to go unless someone says, hey, I know a great disability advocate that would help you, and they do a great job. Then they're willing to listen to that if they know you've used them too or you're familiar with them. But I just want to say that I really, really enjoy what I do. I used to be a caregiver. I no longer could do that physically, but I can do it this way. And that still gives me something to do other than laying around in bed thinking about my pain. I'm focusing on helping others, and I love it. Mm-hmm. So I do want you guys to know that I never paid a penny to get started doing this, like a lot of businesses out there are going to tell you. Brian provides an amazing back office for you with all the information that you're going to need to get going and to check on your work throughout the month as you do it. And I volunteer a lot of time as well to help you get started, and I enjoy training, so I do a lot of that. You won't have to do this on your own. I'll definitely help you get going. And there are several other referral partners that will partner with you and help you along the way too. So Brian, if it's okay with you, I can put my email address in the chat box and my name for any of you that are on Facebook. You're welcome to check me out there, message me, or email me if you would like to know more information about becoming a referral partner from home like I do. I would love to talk to you about that.
Sure.
And also, before I go, I just want to read a couple of testimonials. I just had another new one, Brian, that I was excited about from a couple of folks that I've recently helped. One lady said, hello, Kathy. Just thought I'd tell you I got my Social Security Disability Letter of Approval today. It took less than 2 months. Thank you for posting Disability Digest. I've been praying about seeking out an attorney when I saw your post. Thank you, Jesus. Mm-hmm. So I was really excited for her, guys. It feels great to help people do this. Mm. And then one I just got yesterday said, thank you, Kathy Ero, for pointing me in the right direction, helping me find my new lawyer. I'm back on track now and cutting the deadline to refile my final chance for Social Security very close. praying hard we win my civil SS disability case. God still provides miracles through his earth angels, Kathy Ero, and Disability Digest friends. Thank you, Lord. So I just want to tell you guys that it's very, very rewarding to do this, and it does pay very, very well. It pays decently, and it all depends on what you put into it, you'll get out of it. So you set your goal, what you need to make each month, what you want to make, and I can help you reach those goals.
Awesome.
Okay, Brian, I'm going to put my name and email address in the chat for anybody that wants to look me up on Facebook or email me.
Good, good. Thank you. And right following Kathy, I'm going to put the letters RP, which is for Referral Partner, and I'll put the website link in there so you can learn more while Kathy's trying to catch up with you. So, yeah, so the Referral Partner team is really building some momentum. We have we meet up on Mondays so that you don't, you're not left out there doing this alone in a similar meeting format to this. So, if you think it's a fit, follow Kathy's suggestions. So thanks again, Kathy. Let me just see. Cheryl, unfortunately, was having some audio problems. Let me see if those have been fixed. And love to have you hear from Cheryl. Let me just find here. Cheryl, how are we doing? Are you still?
I can hear now.
Oh,
no, I'm good.
There you are. Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. So just a quick introduction again. Cheryl has been working as an advocate. How long have you been working as an advocate, Cheryl?
I was trying to think that at least 6 years.
6 years.
I would think 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's fantastic. Time flies when you're having fun. So Cheryl has done a great job connecting with people as they go through the disability approval process and really helping them understand our strategy to get approved. So Cheryl, thanks again for spending a few moments with us.
Sure. All right. Hey guys, just a little background. 2004, I was diagnosed with MS. I applied in 2005 and I got it in like 6 months. But back then it was a lot easier than it is now. The things that you have to provide, they want a lot more medical information, and there's just a lot more to jump through. So it was a lot of work. We had to sit in front of doctor's office, sit at doctor's offices and making sure that the forms are all put out. If I had known about Disability Digest, I definitely would have used them because it takes a lot of that off of you. But I started working with Disability Digest. I love it because I'm able to connect with people and help them through the process because I know how overwhelming it can be, especially once you start getting all that paperwork from Social Security. So I have been doing this, like I said, 5 to 6 years. I'm able to we're able to I lost my train of thought as that happens. It's a good organization. They really care. I really enjoy starting someone from the beginning and getting them through the process. And then sometimes people that have been denied 2 or 3 times and they're losing hope, and to be able to give them hope is another thing that I love to do. I've helped a lot of my friends go through the process. In fact, I had just a friend last month. She's in Alaska, and we have never met. I belong to a lot of support groups, and she's one of them. And she had been denied a couple of times and was pretty much losing her house until this happened. And so then I connected her with one of our reps, and just a few conversations. In about 3 months, she was awarded her disability, which totally took the stress off of her. Anyway, so I'm here, and we have a lot of advocates that do what I do. We take the referrals, like from Kathy and other referral partners, and we are with you from beginning to end. Anything that we can help you with, we definitely will. If we don't know the answer to the question, we have a good network of people that can help you. Yeah, so that's all I have.
That's
Thanks,
great.
Brian.
Great. Thanks for sharing your story. I'm going to put a link up here. Let me see the best way to do this if somebody would like to talk to Cheryl or an advocate like Cheryl. I will put the link in the chat for the 89 of you that have still not crossed the finish line. There it is. Okay, great. Good, so let's take some individual questions, and thanks again to Cheryl and Kathy for spending a few minutes with us. So before I go on and read questions, I see Judith and Karen, you have your hands raised. I'm going to unmute you so that I can address your questions. Just give me one moment. Okay. Karen, can you hear me?
Started at Ann's Boutique that used to be right up.
Hello, Karen. How you doing? This is Brian.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. And how are you?
Last I checked, I was doing fantastic.
Super.
How can I help you?
I just wanted to listen to this since I saw it. I'm already on long-term disability, but I can't live off what I make.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at doing something else.
All right. All right. So did you have a specific question, or did you just have your hand raised out of curiosity? You wanted to say hi.
I'm new to this stuff, so.
Well, hey, if you hadn't have done it, we wouldn't have the opportunity to speak. So thank you for saying hi.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good stuff. Okay, Judith, can you hear me? Judith? Judith Spain. Love that name. Can you hear me? Oh, you're muted now. All right. So if others would like to, let me see. There's a few other. Okay, Eric. I see that you're still, I unmuted you, but your microphone on your computer is still muted, so you'd need to unmute that.
Testing.
There we go.
There we go. I'm driving. Can you send me a link so I can sign up, please?
Well, if you received this email and you were invited here, you're a member. What is it that you would like to sign up for?
Okay. Whatever I need to do to make money. Send me the instruction manual, the training manual, the next step.
Okay. Let me see if I can find your name as you're logged in. I'm going to do my best, Eric. I'm writing down your name, but here's what you can do if I don't, if I can't find your name in our database. Just reply to the email that invited you here and say, listen, I'd like to become a referral partner. Send me the
Referral
information.
partner, that's the buzzword.
That's the buzzword.
All right.
All right. You shouldn't be driving on your phone. Isn't that illegal?
Well, not if you have a Bluetooth headset on.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I don't want to call you out and get you in any trouble here. Just concerned for your safety.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Bye.
You are welcome. All right. I saw one more in here, I believe. Okay. So we have a few other questions. Let's see what we have over here in this list. Started disability 7 years ago. For one night, I had a stroke more recently. Am I eligible for additional benefits? Okay, so here is, it's not a common question, but it's a question. This is from Gary, wondering if he's on disability and he had an additional condition that came up. Are you entitled to more benefits? And the answer is no. Social Security disability is a black and white environment. You either qualify for the amount of money that is predetermined based on your work history, or you don't. So, sorry about that, but that's the answer. I'm just a messenger. Next question from Michelle. Applied, went to court, etc. Have been denied. I'm reaching 50 in June. Congratulations. It's a great age. Waiting on my last appeal. If they deny this appeal again, should I start over? Or should I reapply? Ooh, this is a good question. Difficult to answer that based on what you have told me. One of the first things you should look at is when your date of last insured is, meaning when your disability benefit entitlement runs out. And as a general message to everybody, if you've worked 50% or more the last 10 years, then you are covered for your disability benefits. But if that if you're getting beyond that time, then it could be a situation where you wouldn't be able to apply again. So I'd take a look at that first. Then the other thing is you want to consider, and we could help you do that if you speak with an advocate. We could have somebody take a look at your case after it was denied by a judge, and they could kind of give you their take on, is this a winnable case at the appeals level, which is the next level, or the federal appeals level, which is the last level. And if they say, well, you know what, you probably have a 15% chance of getting this approved, and you've got new evidence and stuff that you can put in a brand new application and do it right from the beginning, then you can make a decision at that time. So a little bit more needs to be revealed before we can say, yeah, you know what, you should do it this way or you shouldn't. Hope that was helpful. And it's been drawn out for over 3 years. Well, you know, here's my message to everybody about the approval process is with our strategy here, we teach you how to do it on your own, or you can use a representative. But really, to us, it doesn't matter because it's really a personal preference. But the thing is, we do really feel strongly about doing it right, especially at the very beginning. And where people make a mistake, the biggest mistake, is they listen to somebody that says to them, I'm just going to go out and apply, and then if I get stuck and it doesn't work, then I'll go get some help. Big mistake. Then you've got a bad application, wrong information in it. I mean, no harm, no foul to you, but without knowing what to put in your application and taking a guess at it, that's where people really get in trouble. So if you're on disability, that can be your message to other people that you can help people is, listen, however you do it, just do it right, and we can help you do it right. Because you can avoid that 3-year approval time. Okay, here's the next question from Beverly. How do you prove that your psychiatric disorders are extreme or severe enough to qualify for disability? This cannot be measured like blood pressure. This is a great question. And there's a lot of other conditions that are subject to this, like Kathy has fibromyalgia. A lot of people with fibromyalgia, they look beautiful. They look fine, but they hurt like hell, and they feel like they get the flu 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So in order to prove that you are disabled, one of the key things is you need to be able to document the limitations that you have. So if you have psychiatric, let me see if I can gather my thoughts here. So let's say you have a challenge being around people or remembering repetitive tasks, or you have extreme rage and you just get totally annoyed at people. If those instances are happening to you, for example, and you are being treated by a doctor for them, then that would be something that would prevent you from being able to work, and you could qualify for your disability benefits. So that's the key, is documenting the limitations. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, please let me know. Good questions here. We've got a few more. Okay, here's another one. Took early retirement at age 62 and am now 64 and a half. Does that mean I'm ineligible for disability? You can apply for disability benefits up until your 65th birthday, it is. Maybe it's a little different than that. But it's not far off. It's somewhere around there. And actually, for those of you that are in your 60s or in your late 50s and you think, you know, I'm just going to hang out and collect early retirement, a big mistake financially, because you get paid more on your disability benefits. It's usually about 40% more than your Social Security retirement that you would take at age 62. There's other benefits too, but that's the number one, is 40% more money. So if you roll that 40% more between age 62 and 65, you know, you're dealing with a pretty substantial chunk of income. All right. Here's one from Alan. Used to be in oil field, sales and marketing, making big bucks, disabled veteran, 6-7 surgeries. Thanks for serving our country, Alan. Really appreciate that. Okay. So I don't see the question here. Maybe it's down a little lower. Okay, so I see that you're down to $2,200 a month. I see, between your VA. So you're trying to figure out how to make up the difference. I don't know what your VA rating is. That might be one area to look. And the reason why I say that is because, as we indicated before, your Social Security amount is fixed based on your work history, but your VA rating, let's say that your VA rating is 30%, and it really should be 50%. And when you get it increased, you get more money. So, just a quick by the way for everybody, veterans disability is different than Social Security disability. It's based on a percentage of disability. The higher your percentage, the higher, the higher amount that you're disabled. So if you're 100% disabled by the Veterans Administration, that is the highest. And you'd receive the full amount. But if you're like 10% for, PTSD, for example, which is what they're doing now, they're giving them a low rating for PTSD, but it really should be 40 or 50%, then you'd get more money, receive more money. Okay. So here's one from Susan. Waiting for an ALG meeting and have been. So Susan's waiting to go to court. Is there any way to know where one is in the process? Applied about 2 years ago. So if you're waiting for a hearing and you haven't been assigned for a hearing, that is typically the longest waiting period in the approval process. So a few things I would say is, if you're doing this on your own, then contact Social Security and just make sure that everything is in place and your appeal is in place and they have everything they need so that you can get a hearing date. That's number one. If you have a representative, then call them. They should do this. You can ask them to send them confirmation that your request for hearing has been submitted. A few other tips at this point for you and others is, once you get your hearing date, so you'll get a letter that says, okay, your hearing is on such and such a date. There is another opportunity to get approved without going to a hearing, and it's called an on-the-record brief. And it's what you're doing, and representatives typically do this for you, is they'll write a 4 to a 5-page brief, which is really going to be the same argument that they're going to present in court, and they'll send it into to the judge that's going to do the hearing, ask him to read it in advance as a courtesy. But commonly when they read those, it's like, oh, I don't need to see this person in court. Approved, and that clears up their backlog. So it's not a slam dunk sure thing, but it still is an effective way to get cases approved, and it's work that needs to be done anyway in preparation for a hearing. Oh, Kathy, I see that you put your information in the questions and answers, but just as well, you may want to put it in the chat feature on the GoToMeeting software if you haven't already. Okay, I own a home and I live and I get SSDI. Do I need to transfer to another family member? No. SSDI is not an asset-based, there's no correlation between that. Like Donald Trump could get Social Security disability if it still exists after he's elected and whatever he does to the program. So no, if for SSI, which is a different program, also known as welfare, that is asset and resource based, and so income, things that you own, would certainly have an impact on that, but not for Social Security disability. Okay, Susan, I see your note here. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, would be interested in working with you. That would be fantastic. Susan, the answer to your question is, can I use this program like this when I have an attorney? Yes, you can. And so, again, I want to reinforce that, or I haven't even gone over this, but here's what I've found. If you have an attorney or non-attorney representative working on your case, don't take for granted that everything is going to go perfectly and smoothly, and you should use our mini course in a few key areas especially, because I feel it's important for you to go through at least the orientation in the mini course, Social Security Disability mini course, which is up on our screen here right now. It's at the top. There's an interview with Jonathan Ginsburg. And the reason for that is it's important for you to understand what it is that you need to prove when you're in court. That way, if you bring an attorney into court, and you should ask him in your pre-hearing meeting, say, listen, I want you to go over my case theory with me and explain to me how you're going to explain to the judge that I'm disabled. And if it's not consistent with what you have in the mini course, I'd start raising the flag. Maybe there's another attorney in the office or something else you can do. In addition to that, Susan, if you watch the screen, items 9A, B, and C are all about hearing and hearing preparation. Little things are covered, like what you should wear, should you take your medication, you should go to know where the hearing office is in advance, drive by it, know where to park, understand how long it's going to take you to park and walk in the building, considering that you have to go through security. Things like that are all covered in those lessons, and it actually shows you what goes down in a hearing, what it's typically set up like. So yes, absolutely use the mini course and the resources that we have to maximize your chances and make sure that your the team that you hired is doing their job. You'll look really smart. 2 years with an attorney, always wondering why they have disincentive to hurry it along. All right. Okay. Well, you know, it's a good question from Bobby. I've heard it takes an average of 2 years with an attorney, always wondering if they have a disincentive to hurry it along. I think as a general statement, you know, there may be attorneys out there that do that. They sit on a case, they wait for it to go to hearing, so that there's a full fee. There's another way to look at it. There are what we call full service disability representatives out there, and those are the ones that we seek out to help our members out. And we do some of that work here in-house, here at the Disability Digest. And the reason why I bring that up is, if you really look at it, it is better, in my opinion, and those that we look to work with, to get a case and win it as fast as possible. The fee may be lower, and in some instances there's no fee. But if the fee is lower and the member gets approved quicker, then you don't have to go to court. You don't have all that extra preparation. You don't have somebody that's frustrated, you know, in the wait, in the delays. And when you have somebody that's happy from running a business from my side, what do they usually do? They usually go tell some people. So we look for working relationships with representatives where they'll get the medical records and they'll wordsmith the application and communicate everything correctly from the beginning so that they do have that. Because let's face it, if somebody is going to go to court to argue your case, it's a day out of the office, right? They've got to prep for it. It's a lot more work. And yes, it is more money. In some cases, it's going to end up there anyway. But if you win the ones at the beginning and you win them early, you get your money early, they get their money early, and that philosophy exists with disability representatives out there in the market now. So great point, Bobby. Thanks for bringing it up. Okay, we're running tight on time here, and we've got a pile of questions, so I just want to go through some of the key ones. Let's see. All right, Sharon would love to work with us. That's fantastic. We'd love to work with you, Sharon. Oh, I see. Do we only employ those that are working on SSI? Well, you know, it's a good question. So we ideally look for individuals that are on disability and approved for disability. With the Referral Partner program, you know, you can start that. If you're going through the approval process, we're okay with that. Other positions, no. And we have worked with able-bodied people before, but we're really kind of keenly committed to putting these positions back into, you know, into our membership. So I don't want to say no, but I'm just saying it would need to be somebody that's exceptional. I don't understand this question from Susan. How to close conversion to SS as a different SSD with SSA request determination. I'm sorry, I've read it a couple times. Have another swing at it and I'll see if I can answer it. Rephrase it if you could. Okay, this is from Melissa. Her husband's claim is that the disability determination in Georgia had a mental health exam on 11/30. As of today, the decision has not been made. The doctor mentioned he was contacted and he provided information. How long does this process take? Okay, so this sounds like it's an initial application, and we see initial application decisions anywhere from 4 months to, in California, 12 months. I'm not sure what to say on that one. It's going to be somewhere in that area. So anyways, 11:30. So that would mean at 11:30 he's probably at least 3. So he's probably, I'm just guessing, 5 months into it. So you should hear something within the next 5 months. You know, maybe that's not what you want to hear, but that's pretty conservative. All right. Boy, you guys have some good questions. All right. So here's a question from Q. I'll just stick with that. Recently approved for disability, like to form an LLC and invest in real estate. How can I do this and keep my benefits in Medicare if to form LLC and pay myself as an employee? Okay. So the LLC strategy is not uncommon for people with disabilities, and I'm not going to tell you something that is illegal, underhanded, or anything like that. But the value of a corporation is this: the money goes into a corporate entity, which you can own that corporation, or you can have others that own it with you, and then the corporation in turn would write a paycheck to you, the individual. And it's the amount that the corporation pays you, the individual, in this general concept, that is what is counted towards your $810 that you can earn a month. So where a corporation is helpful is, let's say that this individual is doing real estate investing, and they might get one deal a year that brings in, you know, let's say it brings in $12,000, right? That's a big sum of money in 1 month, but if it goes into the corporation, it's not paid directly to the Social Security number, then you can pay all your expenses out of the corporation and just, you know, take the amount that, you know, is conducive to your disability check and regulations and all of that. So it allows you to manage your money, long story short. So yes, you can do that. And that's how. Now, if you're paying yourself out of the corporation, if you're paying yourself over the 810, then you need to understand how to use your trial work periods, which you get 5 of those over 6 years, where you can take out larger sums of money. And that's covered in our members area, section 2, and that would be the last lesson 4. So, okay. All right, I've got 2 more minutes, and we're going to close it down. And but I want to answer these last few questions here because they've been fantastic. Okay, I've been approved for several years, 7 years in March. The next year will be 62. So if you're approved for disability, the question is, how do you? I want to make it permanent. I'm not sure, Robin, if you mean that you're subject to reviews and you just want to be done with being subject to reviews and make it permanent. If that is your question, I don't know the answer. I don't know if you can change the, you know, being subject to reviews, if that is indeed your question. So everybody out there, when you don't have your award letter yet, when you do get it, you should read it. And if you do still have it, you should definitely read it so you can see you might be permanently disabled. That decision may be subject to a review, and they do them as early as 18 months now, or 3 years. So just be aware of when you may be called on for a review. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do to wrap up. If I did not get your question answered, I apologize. You had some great questions today. You are welcome to reply to the email that invited you here, so that you can get that answered, or contact support at the Disability Digest. That's another way to do it. Support at the Disability Digest, and they'll get your questions. So a few things in closing. I recorded this, and we will have it put out on our blog. So if you missed part of it or had to leave early, or you want to share it with a friend, just contact support at the Disability Digest, usually by, say, Tuesday of next week. You can even do it now. They'll put you on a list, and then they'll send it back to you and cover everything. Last thing is this. Your membership is free here at the Disability Digest, and we make our money through ads on the website and sponsors and funding from Social Security and Medicare and all of that. So, and we're committed to keeping it that way. So, here is my message and my request for you. If I could just have your attention for one last moment. We work hard at doing the best we can to provide you with this membership so that you can maximize your benefits or get on your benefits. And if we provide value to you, I would really appreciate it, and so would the others here, if you tell others about what we're doing. Say, man, listen, go on over, get a free membership at the Disability Digest and take advantage of all the resources that they have. Because the more members we have, the more sponsorship dollars we attract. And with those sponsorship dollars, the more people we can put back to work and help supplement your income, and the better resources that we can provide you, the more webinars, the better content that we can do. So in concept here is everybody wins if you spread the word. Now, if we miss the mark and you think that we totally junked it up and we're just not doing a great job, I would definitely want to hear that. Just reply to the email, please explain why, so that we can improve upon what we're doing. So in closing, really appreciate you placing your trust in us to come out here today and spend some time with us here. And I hope you've got your questions answered and found some ways to move forward and maximize your disability benefits. It's been a pleasure. Thanks again. This has been Brian Therrien.